Hi guys, welcome back to my little YouTube channel. I'm Amanda, I'm autistic, I'm an autistic adult, I'm 40 years old and I was diagnosed a few years ago. In these videos I'm doing a mishmash of autism content. What is autism? Autism meltdowns, everything to do with autism, and a day in my life as an autistic person, and I'm hoping along the way it's going to support a few of you out there who think you may also be autistic. So in today's video, I'm going to be asking, what is an autistic meltdown? And if somebody has an autistic meltdown, what can you do to help? So what exactly is an autistic meltdown? An autistic meltdown is an overwhelming response to a stressful situation. That situation could range from crowds of people, overstimulation, it could be too loud, it could be too bright, it could be anything that autistic person finds incredibly stressful. And in turn that can result in this build-up of sensory pressure, and it can lead to an autistic meltdown. Sometimes the world can just feel so overwhelming to us as autistic people, because we can be expected to make small talk with people, to deal with crowded environments where people are loud and talkative and bumping into us, to have to process massive amounts of information, and it's just more difficult for us in comparison to somebody that maybe does not have autism. And sometimes all of these things, especially if combined throughout the whole day, can just build up and build up and build up, and it can lead to an explosion. Now, an autism meltdown doesn't necessarily have to be somebody crying or screaming or kicking on the floor. You may have heard that quite often, especially on videos and in textbooks, and that's not always the case. You might know an autistic person that withdraws when they're feeling particularly stressed, and that's something really common. A lot of autistic people, we tend to give the silent treatment when we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with things. And so autistic people, when having a meltdown, can withdraw into themselves, can come to places like this where I am now, away from people, where it's quiet and just be around nature, or they can go to sleep. It doesn't have to be this massive explosion and crying. What I do want you to know though is that an autistic meltdown is completely natural. It's completely natural to that autistic person, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just our way of releasing and clearing and getting rid of that pent up negative energy that may have accumulated during a particularly stressful time. It's no different to somebody crying during premenstrual tension, for example. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, and I certainly don't want you to punish the autistic person if you experience them having a meltdown. So how can you help somebody that's having a particularly stressful moment? How can you help an autistic person that's suffering from a meltdown? The first thing that you can do in that situation, and it's really important, is to stay calm. The autistic person is already feeling really anxious, upset, angry. We're already going through all of that rainbow of emotions, thoughts and feelings that are overwhelming us. The last thing we need is for somebody else to enter our equation and start adding to those feelings. The next thing you can do for that autistic person is to try and create a safe space. That might be away from the triggering scenario that's happening there and then. For example, if they're in a supermarket and there's loads of people staring at that autistic person, and there's loads of sights and heavy sounds and feelings and sensory triggers, just removing the autistic person away from that triggering environment might be enough just to calm them down and to help them. And don't forget, if you are trying to communicate and talk to us as autistic people when we're going through that meltdown period, just remember to use clear and precise language and use clear directions, and don't use jargon or start raising your voice or giving us complex tasks to do. Don't forget, we're already feeling mentally overwhelmed with everything that's happening to us, so what we don't need on top of that is more complex information. So it's probably best in that situation to just try and stay calm, remove the person from that triggering environment, and try and just tell that autistic person, don't worry, it's okay, everything will be okay, and use calming, comforting words. That's probably the best advice I can give. Like anybody else experiencing a stressful situation, having a panic attack, a meltdown is a real stressful situation for that autistic person. So it might be worthwhile just advising the autistic person to use calming techniques like mindfulness and deep breathing, and just try and guide the autistic person as well. So you breathe in with them, tell them to breathe in for 5 seconds, hold the breath for 2, and then breathe out for 5 seconds, and keep doing that until the autistic person starts to feel a little bit calmer. And if you've never heard of mindfulness before, look it up on YouTube. Just type in 5-minute mindfulness meditation. There's so many different types of meditation you can choose from, and sometimes just bobbing on a 5-minute meditation video can just be enough time to help calm that autistic loved one. And the last thing I want to ask is for you to just be patient, and for you not to judge that autistic loved one if they're going through an autism meltdown. I really hope that this video has helped you to better understand autism meltdowns, and hopefully it's given you a little bit of advice along the way with regards to how to support somebody who may be experiencing an autism meltdown. Obviously we're all different, so it's always worth having a conversation with your autistic loved one. What happens if you have a meltdown, and how can I best support you in this situation? Thanks for watching, guys. Take care and see you next time.